7 and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Obviously you can tell this is a Sims 4 speed build here on the channel this time around, and hopefully I will not have to repeat myself again because I have messed up on this intro, like this beginning part, a few times now, and then the last time my recording software just decided to just kaput and stop recording, and it just shut down my whole entire screen and was like, nope, I give up, I don't want to work anymore, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. But I don't need it to go to sleep right now, I need it to actually cooperate with me. So anyway, welcome to the video. This house, I did actually try something a little bit differently. Like, I had played around with, basements and stuff a little bit before. A lot of my houses have basements, but I haven't done, like, anything crazy out of the weird, like, out of the norm for a basement. The Evie family's basement is probably, like, the most biggest, or, like, the most biggest, like, the biggest or the most, done out there sort of basement, and it's still not, like, anything dramatic. But what I wanted to sort of do with this house is that if it was like a real life setting and you're walking by this house and you see it, you probably think that this is an extremely small home. It's like only one person. The kitchen and dining and living are probably all smushed together and they're not very big. But in reality, that's not true. This actually is a family home, but most of the rooms are actually underground. So they're part of the basement and you actually have to go downstairs to go to the rest of it. The only thing on the upper floor is bathrooms and a living area. Because I would imagine that if you were living in this house that you would want the living area to be in the top. Because one, that's one of like something that's a little bit nicer to walk into as a guest or whatever, but also if it's like someone you're just meeting for the first time, or if it's just like neighbors that are coming, or you're like just having like a little tiny get together, you could simply bring some like little snacks and food up to the living room, and you wouldn't ever have to go to the downstairs part, and you wouldn't have to worry about your guests having to go down and up the stairs all the time. So that's part of the reason I thought the living room made the most sense to be the room that was upstairs and the one that actually could be viewed. But the rest of the rooms are downstairs in the basement levels, and I actually do 2 basement levels, which I've never done that either. All the basements that I have sort of dabbled with and done a little bit too, all are just a single floor basement. You go down, that's it. You don't go down and you can't go down a second time, but in this one you can. And there are a lot of, while I'm building this, there are a lot of lines from me building a bunch of walls, and I'm changing things around, and that was because, like, I sort of had one thing in mind, but at the same time, like, I couldn't fully get that done the way that it was sort of looking in my mind. I think the size of the lot was part of the reason why that was being a little weird, because of what I was thinking in my head, and the size of the lot really wasn't working together very well. One of the things that I was thinking about was, like, actually trying to get it to where, the master bedroom is, since this is underground, you wouldn't be able to necessarily actually see the walls on the outside. So, you know, this separate area isn't gonna be weird, like, if it's detached to a certain way. So I wanted, like, the master bathroom and master bedroom, sort of like, you know, the parents' area, or, you know, if you have a single mom or single dad or whatever, their bedroom to be sort of separated and a little offset from the rest of it. So I wanted like a hallway to lead to it and it be separated. And in the end, I did do that, but not to the full extent of what I was thinking of it in my head. But I still like how it turned out. But I literally fool with these walls over and over again, trying to figure out like what I want it to look like. And so a lot of times I used to struggle with, like, and I still do at times, making the bedrooms too big while I'm actually building the walls, because I look at it and I'm like, that just looks like it's very tiny, and like I'm not going to be able to fit a lot in here, and it's gonna be like cramped and stuff. In reality, it's not. Or if it is even somewhat cramped, it actually looks more realistic or more lived in. So I've gotten a little better at stuff like that, but I do move the walls around so much because I can't fully decide on what I want to do. And I did want to make this, since I was going for the illusion of it looking like a small build or looking like a small house for like a single person. I wanted it to be like a pretty big size family's living area. I mean, house and living area. So I think it ends up having like 4 or 5. Well, not counting the master, but it ends up having around 4 or 5 bedrooms. I think it ends up being 4 though, if I remember correctly. One is down like at the very bottom level with where the master is, and the rest of them are in the middle level, which is like the first basement level. This is really complicated to say because it's like the first basement level, but it's actually the one in the middle, so it's not the farthest one down. But anyway, so, and the one that's closest to the parents' room, I would imagine, would be like, the nursery or whatever for if they have a baby or a toddler. That's where they would more likely stay. And as you get older, you work your way up to the upper rooms where you can be sort of left alone by yourself. But I do really change these walls around so much because, like, I start changing my mind on what I want certain things to look like, or what I'm starting to realize, like, maybe I don't like the size of that bathroom, or like, wait, I need like a laundry room, or no, I'm gonna do it in the kitchen. And like, I literally move things around so much. I could not 100% get my mind set on one particular shape or design of this house whatsoever. And I did want them all to have like big closets, because to me, which I guess I could do the half closets, but I've put the big closets in my household so often, I don't know if the kids can actually go in there and like play in them. And also the same thing with like your cheeky teenagers or even the adults, if they can, go in there and do some things as well, make out and stuff. I haven't paid attention if the option is still there for the smaller size closet versus the big size closet. And I'm like, it's not really that much bigger. I just have to make the wall just a little bit bigger and I can fit the big size closet. So I go for the big size closet, but for me, most houses that I've been to, the bedrooms have at least some sort of closet attached onto them. So I've got into the habit where I almost always make sure there is a closet in the bedroom, and it seems more realistic to me because the dressers that you have, unless you get the really big dressers, which there isn't too many really big dressers unless you have CC, which I have a lot of it, but in this build I don't use any of it, of course, because like I try not to use any CC in my build unless I explain why I'm using CC in the voiceover part of the build. But anyway, that is a totally different matter. Like, the dressers aren't enough to hold your clothes. Maybe for some people, because, some people, like, give them a few pair of jeans, a few pair of shirts, stuff like that, and they're good to go. But then there's some people that actually like to have multiple outfits, and they don't want to wear the same, like, 6 to 9 outfits in a month. So, and my house is a very good example of that. My dad will wear his jeans as long as possible. Same for his shirts before he puts them in the dirty pile which I sort of do the same, especially when it comes to jeans and leggings, unless I spill food on them, which does happen occasionally. But I do tend to wear them a little bit longer than like just a day or two, because one, I don't have time to wash them all the time, and 2, they usually don't get that dirty. But besides the fact, I actually like being able to put different clothes together and have different styles and different outfits. So I have a lot of clothes that don't all fit in one closet. So I actually have a dresser and a closet. Technically, I have 2 dressers and a closet, because I have the dresser in my actual room, and then where my closet actually is, because the closet in my actual room I don't use, which sounds really silly and really stupid, but that's a whole long explanation on its own. But my downstairs dresser more has clothes that I have to, basically tank tops, underwear, like undergarments, like those things that I have to get into and access on a daily basis, and like the bare essentials, versus the upstairs one has clothes that I might not wear for weeks, just depending on the situation. So I have a lot of clothes. I need a closet and dressers. Versus my dad, honestly, though he has a lot of clothes, and it's just because sometimes we don't know what to give him as a present, so he gets jeans for Christmas a lot. Does he wear half of those jeans? Nope. Does he have jeans still with the tags on them from like 6 years ago? Yep. But if it came down to it, he could easily do with just a dresser. Probably. More than likely. But most people I know usually have a dresser and a closet. But especially a closet. So that is a really long explanation and talk about just closets. What? Anyway. So yeah, I always try to make sure, like, I've been making sure in, like, the last so many builds that I can fit room for a closet. Especially in the rooms that are intended for anyone who is, like, a teenager and up. I can feel like the kids could get away with the smaller closets or just having the dressers. Because, yeah, they may have a lot of clothes, but one, their clothes are tinier. And also, they're probably not going to have nearly as much as a teenager and an adult. So I can see them not having a closet as much, but I do tend to still try to give them a closet just because I think it makes sense. And I like having closets because I feel like they add a little bit more of a realism because I'm personally used to closets. So the only thing is the closets in The Sims are like 2-door closets and like you can slide them and stuff like that. Well, closets I'm used to just have a regular door on them. But anyway, let's get off the conversation of closets, because what? So anyway, that was after I finally got all that situated, like where the closet spaces were going to be, what size the rooms were going to be, and I still think I'd go back after I start furnishing and things like that. I'm pretty sure I actually still go back and change them a little bit in the underneath, but I try not to change it too much because I was like, this is getting to be a bit much. But in the upstairs, I did try to like give enough of bare essentials to be able to entertain guests and be able to do stuff up there and things like that for the family and any guests that come over, so that, you know, if need be, this could be the main place where everyone was at. You wouldn't have to go to some of the other places. The only other thing is the kitchen, but the kitchen is not on the very, very bottom basement floor. It's on the middle floor, so like it's not, like, ridiculously far away that if you needed to go down there and grab food, or if your guests needed to go down there and grab food, it's not, like, a really far walk away. But, that was one thing that was different, and I don't know how y'all are, there came my southern accent out really bad. I don't know how you all will actually, like, think about that, having the kitchen and the living room not really close together, because, you know, most builds in most houses in real life, the kitchen and the living rooms are almost always right next to each other to a certain degree, or they're close enough that it's like they're on the same floor. You can easily walk to them without having to go up and down steps or like a ridiculously long way away. Again, I don't think it's really long way, but you know, you do have to go through some steps, like down some steps and through a hallway to get to the kitchen from the living room. But at the same time, again, I was trying to work with the space of like tiny build, but actually huge build in reality. So, but I did try to stick with more browns and tans and whites with a little bit of green. I think it's like, to me, I would consider a lot of more earthy tones just because of grass and dirt and all that stuff. So it definitely was more tones like that with this build. Part of the reason was because I did build this in Oasis Springs. So anytime I build a build, I try to take into account where I'm personally building at. I know that if anyone downloads it, it technically isn't always going to look the same around because they may not put it on the exact same lot, or they may not even put it in the exact same world. But I feel like if I take the surrounding area into consideration and I also just sort of make up some sims or base it off of some random sims that I already have like free floating around in my world and things like that, it helps give the build a little bit more like personality to it and makes it seem more realistic. So I felt like when it comes to Oasis Springs, I feel like the browns, the greens, the oranges, and the reds, those are the ones that I tend to gravitate towards more than some of the other colors when it comes to Oasis Springs. Granted, one of the builds that I really like that I've built in Oasis Springs was white and black with some yellow. But anyway, besides that point, so the only thing with the hallways, I will say, now that I'm seeing myself fooling with the paintings, I actually remember doing this. It's been a little bit since I actually built this. I've been meaning to record a vlog. I don't know if the vlog's gonna come out before this or not. I have a feeling not, because I haven't actually recorded the vlog. Explaining some, because in December I actually took like a little bit of a break, and then after that, because like I had a few computer issues, but it wasn't like anything big, it was something I actually fixed myself. And then after that I decided to actually just take my own break, so it was like 2 weeks there that I didn't do anything on my channel, and then like it was slow going back into it, and then I started having actual computer issues that were like big computer issues. And it was just, yeah. Anyway, so, I had a moment, like a while there, that I didn't post a whole lot, and I actually was doing stuff, I was recording stuff, especially builds and things like that, in the background, but they wasn't making it to the process of being fully edited, or if they was edited, they wasn't making it to the channel, and so on and so forth. So I built this, not like a huge long time ago, but it's been a little bit. So I remember when I was doing this that I wanted to try to make sure that the hallways still had like some interest to them. So I was trying to put stuff on the walls, and I was like, no, there's a lot of wall space to cover. So I kept trying to do stuff on the walls in the hallways to just get them to not be just a plain wall. But I don't remember if I did it on the bottom floor, like the very bottom basement floor, if I remembered if I put a painting on that hallway wall or not. I think I did. If I didn't, I meant to, because I think I was thinking about it. But yeah, I just tried to actually get some like stuff and actually make it look like, you know, there's stuff going on without having a function necessarily. So, you know, decorative point of view here. But in this, like the middle floor or whatever you want to, the first basement floor, it's really, really awkward, because I guess it would be the first basement floor, but, you know, when you're counting down, it's like the first one you hit is the first one, and then the next one is the second one, but it's totally opposite if you're going up. Well, not necessarily. Anyway, it's kabobbled in my head, but, you know, maybe you understand why it's kabobbled, but I can't speak it very well. Anyway, back onto it, but yeah. So, this level has, like, the 3 bedrooms, it has some bathrooms, a kitchen. I think I ended up deciding to do, the laundry area in the kitchen. And that's actually where my laundry stuff is. Like, I don't know if that's normal or not, but my laundry, though it has, like, little doors that shut it off and you don't have to see it all the time, my washer and dryer is technically in the kitchen. So, and I know a lot of times people have them, like, in a separate room, or it's, like, in their, like, it's offset, and I don't know too many people in real life that actually have them in the kitchens. So, you know, I don't know if that's something that's unusual or not, but that's what I decided to do, because it's like, I don't want to necessarily make, like, a whole nother room in this case for the laundry room, because I've done that quite a few times now, so it's like, I don't want to do that again. So I think I'm going to incorporate it into the kitchen. So the laundry space is in the kitchen, but I like having a laundry space because, again, it adds a little bit more of a realism touch to it. And also, I wanted to try to have quite a few bathrooms, because, again, I'm imagining this tiny house is actually meant, well, what appears to be a tiny house is actually meant for a pretty large family. So, large family, probably have a lot of bit of family outside, like the people living in the house, you know, cousins and brothers and sisters of the couple and all that sort of stuff. So I was like, bathrooms are key. I know in my house, when my family gets together, and we're not even that big of a family, there's only 2 bathrooms in my house, and when we have any get-togethers at my house, and you hear the bathroom door shut, and then you look around, there are certain people that stay a really long time in the bathroom, particularly one of my cousins and one of my nieces. They go in the bathroom, and you're like, uh-oh, they're not coming out for a while. And it's not necessarily because I think they actually are using the bathroom the whole entire time. It's just something about them. They feel the need to just sit in there. And when you go in and talk to them and be like, I need to use the bathroom, they'll be like, oh, I'll be a minute. Okay? A minute passes, they're still in there, and I'm like, you shouldn't be peeing that long. Or the other thing either, because you've been in there. One of my cousins, she can literally sit in a bathroom for probably 15-20 minutes. I'm like, if you're really using the bathroom that long, I feel like you should go to the doctor. But, you know, and my niece, I know what she does. She just sits there on her iPad and she's giggling in there, and you're like, what are you doing? Nothing. Can I use the bathroom? I'm almost done. Shouldn't you have been done like 5 minutes ago? But anyway, you know, bathrooms are very, very key and a very huge part of when you have get-togethers, and like that's something that I feel like should be influenced. And since I was sort of imagining in my head that this was probably a bigger size family, I was like, bathrooms are key. I'm not gonna sacrifice a bathroom for a laundry room when I could possibly do it in the kitchen. So that's what I did. I did it in the kitchen, and don't know if on the video I've actually showed it yet, but so yeah. But anyway, I do remember designing 3 of the kids' rooms, which are the 3 upper ones. One was more leaning towards like boys. I mean, 2 of them were leaning more towards like boys, and the 3rd was leaning more towards girls. I'm pretty sure there's only 1 bedroom down in the lower level that's not the master, which is like the nursery. And I don't really do too much in like ones that I intend on being nurseries and things like that. Partially because there's not like a whole lot of decorative stuff that you can do in The Sims 4 without CC. If you give me my CC, I have a lot of CC that can be for babies, but then I end up almost not using it because I get bored of them in the baby stage and almost automatically age them up into toddlers, because at least I can interact with them and do more stuff with them. Versus with the babies, they're just there. I wish there was a lot more you could do with them, so that, you know, there would be a reason to actually decorate a baby's room and also try to do stuff with it and not immediately age it up. But I do that a lot. But yeah, anyway, so another thing that I want to point out is when it comes, and I posted this on Twitter, and I don't remember which build I was building. It may have been this one, but I don't think it was this one. I think it was another build that I was working on, where I was planning one of the rooms were more for a teenage boy, and I sort of had an idea for him, but I couldn't decorate it to show off the personality that I was thinking of styling that room in. And I feel like decoration-wise, anything clutter-wise, I will be happy to get because I want more clutter objects in general. But I feel like if you're, and like I said, it may be me, but I had a few people reply to it and say that they had the same issue. When trying to design a room for a single guy, or like a teenage boy, and even like the younger boys, but more so the older guys, like the teenagers and the men, it's hard to decorate a room for them and actually still give them a personality and have different, unique personalities. One of the people that commented, I remember her saying that pretty much all of her builds that she decorates for like boys, all of the rooms look somewhat similar because she has to go with some of the same stuff, or at least she feels inclined to go for some of the same stuff because she doesn't know how to take it any other direction, or can't, you know what I'm trying to say. So when trying to get different personalities, and I'm someone who wants these builds to all have like, try to have some differences, it really gets annoying when you get, like, I want more options. And when I get like CC, it does help me, but I will say, even CC-wise, guys in general are lacking. Whether it's in build and buy or in cast, guys' stuff isn't as common as finding stuff to do for females, which is honestly really, really annoying because I want to decorate for the guys and do, like, different unique styles in their clothes and their rooms and stuff like that just as much as I do for the girls. So, but yeah, trying to get different vibes is sort of hard, but I try, so hopefully it works. Hopefully, you know, like, you can look at a lot of my rooms that are for boys and, like, still, like, for the most part, you can start seeing different personalities and different styles and not being like, oh, so he's just like this other dude, or the person you're thinking of is just like the other one from the last one. So I do try to add differences. I try to like show like different personalities, but you know, sometimes it comes across, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it semi-does, because, like, it's two different, like, the color schemes are different, but then the base of it is similar, but, anyway, so, rambling on, but let me know down in the comments below if you sort of feel the same way when it comes to, like, decorating for boys and stuff in general. Like, do you struggle with it? Or is it just me? Or, because sometimes I'm like, maybe it's because I actually am a female. Maybe that's why it's easier to decorate the female rooms. But at the same time, like, I'm not a super girly girl. Well, to some things. As I've gotten older, there's some parts of me that are more girly than they used to be, but still. I used to be extreme tomboy. But I'm not so much now, but, it's just, I can't do it. I feel like I have a lot more different personalities showing through rooms for females than I do males. But the same thing can be said once I start making the females be a little bit more tomboy. I'm like, I don't know how to decorate their room. Because I want them to be more, like, into sportsy stuff, or things like that. Even, like, gamers is a little bit harder to decorate for. It's gotten a little bit more decorative options for it recently, but still, like, if you want an extreme nerdy gamer, unless I'm just really bad at finding objects, you can't get an extreme one, but I try sometimes, but, anyway. So, because I think the one build that I actually started doing that tweet on, there was also a room that was meant to be for, like, a girl, but I wanted her to actually be a gamer. I think in the end I ended up liking her room quite a bit, but to start with I struggled a bit because I was like, But yeah, anyway, I'm actually talking for more of this video than I thought I was, because I guess some days when I go to do a voiceover, I can just end up rambling on and on and on about stuff, some of it not even fully relating back to the build. But then other days I'm like, what? Maybe we talk about this? Nah, I think I'm done. Let's just add music. I am way too hyper for it to be 12 o'clock at night. Just saying. Good thing I don't have work in the morning. But anyway, so basically that's what this middle layer is mainly like the kids' bedroom, like what I would imagine be the older kids. Like I was mentioning, I would imagine the bottom one would be like nurseries and things like that. So this is like the older kids, their rooms and stuff like that, and I just spaced out extremely hard right there. Like, I was literally in mid-sentence, and then I just started staring at my camera. It was like the moment of, like, my hyper energy just depleted all at once. Maybe it just skipped, because I feel like it's not completely gone. But yeah, what was I saying? Something about the middle section and the kids' rooms and the blah 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 blah. Yeah, but the downstairs area, which I soon will be getting to after I finish this room. This is like, I imagine like a young child's room that is a female. I don't remember what, I think I started in one direction with her, and then like I started leaning more towards music after a while, or maybe a little bit into electronics, because I think I gave her like the Void Critter thing eventually, but she's also got like the stereo. I had sort of a idea or viewpoint with her, but hers was sort of, her room is probably somewhat similar to a room I've done in the past though, but partially because I love this bed, and I feel like every time I get that bed, I start going in a certain direction with the room. But I love that bed so much. I think it's so cute and pretty, and if I was a little kid and I had that bed, I would have liked it. It was one of the colorways that I hadn't used in recent times. It's probably one of my more favorite ones personally, just because I like that it's darker colors, and I also really like purple. So, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use this one. So I think I intended to start off with more darker colors, and then somehow I started still leaning more towards the pinks, and then after a while I was like, wait, I need to throw more purple back in there. So I threw more purple back in there. And then I started going with the Void Critters, and I was just a little all over the place. But this room in general, I was a little all over the place, because this was the room that I probably struggled the most with, trying to get the shape of it to the way that I wanted it to be. But, whatever. In the end, it worked out. I feel like I've made a lot of music references recently, but I think a lot of them is just so happens to be music name like references to songs that I've been listening to recently. Again, so maybe that's just why. But anyway, so yeah, this is like a little nursery, so there's not really much in this room because again, I don't know what to do much for this room. I would imagine once this kid ages up, if the other 3 rooms are still occupied, you know, this would turn into a toddler's room, which for a toddler this still like it's not a huge room, but it's not like too small of a room for a toddler. Like they're not going to be too cramped, and if the other 3 bedrooms are still full by the time this toddler turns into a kid, guess what? Deal with it, child. You're the youngest. That's what you get. You get the hand-me-downs. As soon as the other rooms are free, you get one of those rooms, and anything that your brother or sister may leave in it. That's just how it goes. Yet you're also going to be the spoiled child, because I have learned that to myself. Okay, well, I got interrupted by a cat, so it was the perfect timing for me to take a sip of my drink. But anyway, like I was saying, I am the youngest child in my family, and I have been told several times that I am spoiled. And I'm not saying that I'm not to a certain degree, because I actually think I probably am to a certain degree, just because of my family situation. I am the youngest, but I am also the way that my parents came together. Their other 2 children are not with each other, and they didn't even know if they were necessarily going to get to have a child together, and then lo and behold, I happened. So I think they were very grateful and thankful that they had me. So I think it's multiple things going on with me. I'm like the youngest child, so I'm like the baby, but my other siblings were quite a bit older and already getting close to like moving out by the time that I was born. Like both of them were in high school, or at least one of them was in high school and one was very, very close to going to high school. If not in high school, he may have been in high school. I don't remember for sure. But either way, teenagers, not staying in the house much anyway. Not too long. By the time I start remembering things, basically have moved out of the house. So I was almost like the baby and also the only child at the same time. But anyway, but I don't think I'm as spoiled as my family, my siblings say I am. Particularly my sister. I think she just thinks I get my way all the time, and she says like, oh, you got all these computers and all these gaming devices and stuff like that. I bought all those with my own money that I worked for at a job that I applied and interviewed for and got. I didn't ask for it. I haven't asked for anything. I haven't had my, like anyone older than me, my parents, sister, brother, any of them. I haven't asked any of them for money to buy something like my computer or my computers or any of my gaming systems since I was like 17, 16. So, meh. I even bought my car myself with my own money. So, meh. That's a totally different subject all on its own. But anyway, the screenshot should be coming up with this soon. As you can see, the master bathroom is being done here towards the end. At least I think my voiceover is over the master bathroom. I had to pause it at one point and I don't know if I got back to the right point. And the master bedroom is also done. I probably could talk for the 6-7 minutes remaining, but my voice is actually starting to go out a little bit and my throat is getting a little dry and starting to get a little sore. This is like the second or third voiceover. I did one this morning and then I went to work, and I work in retail, so I had to talk to customers, and then I came back and I did another voiceover, and now I'm doing this one. So my voice is trying to give out on me. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you really, really like this video. Enjoy the little bit of music that you have towards the end. Let me know down in the comments how you think of this build and such. What is your favorite parts about it? Would you want to have it in your own sim world and such things? If you do want to download it on the gallery, it will be, if you do want to download it and add it to your own game, it will be on the gallery for your downloading pleasure. It will be the Hidden Family Home. My origin ID is ArtisticGamer7, and I always use the hashtag ArtisticGamer7 on any of my builds, and I probably will have like Oasis Springs or family home or something also in the hashtags. I try to find, I have multiple ways for you to find my builds in some capacity, but anyway, in the description will be the name of the build and my origin ID if you ever forget it, so in any of my builds you can go and check it on that to make sure that you're typing it right and all that good stuff. My social media will also be down there, so you can go follow me on those, as well as all of my Sims 4 playlists, so you can catch up on anything you're behind, or if there's a build that you possibly missed, it will be down there in that playlist for builds for Sims 4. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video. It's basically to the screenshots almost, so hope you like the video and the end product and the music and all that stuff. Anyway, bye! Thank you.